Hi everyone, good morning and good morning everyone, and to Associate Prof. Dr. Thomas Chow, the Dean of School of Education, Humanities and Social Sciences of Wawasan Open University. It is my pleasure to extend a special welcome to our guest speaker for today, Dr. Khoo Kay-Yong, lecturer at University of Hong Kong and the founding director of Child Education Product Development Company, elearn.com. And also to Mr. Alvin Tai, the General Manager of elearn.com Limited. And from MELS, Multimedia English Language System, we have Mr. Woon, Senior Programmer, and Mr. William, the Course Director. Now, I would like to welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Khoo Kay-Yong. Dr. Khoo, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning, Dr. Khoo.
Hello.
Morning, Dr. Khoo.
Good morning. So thank you for
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. So there are so many of you all. So in fact, I'm caught in Hong Kong for 1.5 years. So I couldn't go back to Penang. So I miss the food so much, and my mother is there as well. So how's everyone today? So
Everyone is good.
thank you. Okay, so today, in fact, Alvin is with me. Alvin is in Hong Kong in our office today. And I have Mr. Woon in Penang, my colleague, and Mr. William will be joining us in a short while. And I'm going to start the talk now. So I hope I can learn from all of you as well. So please raise some question if you have, but leave it to the till the end of the session. So my talk will last for an hour, and subsequently, I'm inviting today 8 children of different age at a primary level. So they're going to show how they write the code and code the robots and operate the robots with the code that they have come up with. Since there are 8 of them, I'm going to split them into 2 sessions in groups. So one will take about 10 minutes. Okay, so let us start the session now, and I'm going to share my slide. I'm going to post my slide on a website, which I'm going to tell you later. If any of you might be interested in the slide, so most probably can go there and download. So my name is Khoo, and okay, so let me share with all of you, which I think this can be a good slide to start with. So I was told not to be too theoretical today. Okay, so first of all, I think I've been in kindergarten training in Malaysia for the past 20 years. So I go around everywhere. I went around everywhere to Sabah, Sandakan, to everywhere, in fact, KL, for the past 20 years. Then I went to China, I think after year 2008, China, then Hong Kong. Then from then onward, I spent most of the time in China. Almost every week I went to China from Hong Kong. But of course, the last a year or plus, which we were caught mainly in Hong Kong, we couldn't enter into China. So, but somehow, in fact, as what we know, when the God close a door, in fact, the God always open another. So in fact, now we conducted a lot of training with a kindergarten in China via Zoom, and to some parenting talk in Hong Kong. Like next week, we still have some, and we meet a lot of parents. Like this coming 30th of October, we're going to meet a school in Penang, one of the school in Penang, Zhonghua A and B. I think they claim they can have more than a few hundred parents. So I think this is something good and great for us to share with. And this year, very sudden, in fact, like I took up a part-time teaching at the University of Hong Kong, and they started the hybrid learning, which I think is very interesting. Like a week before last, when I was in a classroom, and we are doing a simple presentation with Zoom, and in a real face-to-face classroom. This the very first semester we start with face-to-face classroom, but we do it in a hybrid mode. Hybrid mode means some children, they follow the class online. So they are in, maybe in China and in somewhere else. And when they are doing the presentation in the class, I can hardly tell where they are. Because some of them, in fact, because there are so many children, students in front of me at master degree level. So some of them, when they are doing the presentation, in fact, some of them are from elsewhere, not in the classroom. So I think this is very interesting for us to look into the 5 theories of learning. We all know them very well. It's just that, in fact, we don't practice, okay? So let me start with this slide. The first one is the behaviorism, okay? So put it in a more layman terms, so we give rewards and punishment. So sometimes it's good to design our learning, especially for early childhood educations. So we give rewards to the children, to some extent. In fact, we give them, like, I think most of the parents, in fact, they are still very prompt to this kind of learning method. So when they come, like normally we conduct a lot of activities now, which I'm going to show you some of those later on. We have a lot of competition now just to get children to learn the coding. And some of the parents, the first question they ask, is there any prizes given away? So very immediate question. And our educational system, in fact, very close. In fact, we are very encouraging the connectivism. Connectivism means we always believe we go to the school, then the teachers will feed us, sorry to use the words SEED, feed us with the knowledge. Then we receive as a passive receiver, So to some extent, some parents, in fact, they believe this is the only way they learn. This is the only way to get children learn. And this is the only way that learning takes place. So behaviorism, so normally we give rewards, punishment, or some rules set. So the children or the learners, they're going to follow the rules. So they're going to be attracted with the rewards. So they try to avoid the punishment. And that's how we make and we change the way how they learn, and we change the behavior. And slowly, in fact, we change our attitude towards some kind of roles, sometimes activities. Then, in fact, we become somebody else. We change the way how we behave. So this is the behaviorism method of learning. Then the connectivism, in fact, believe we learn from some authorities. They know the knowledge a lot. Then we receive, then we get the knowledge from them. And we know very well constructivism. So sometimes we know some knowledge, in fact, is constructed. We need to construct our own knowledge. Like, for example, if you want to learn how to swim, you can't simply watch videos or read books, then you know how to swim, which is impossible. And we are entering into the connectivism now. Connectivism comes in the sense that, in fact, all of us, we are highly connected. So the knowledge that we are learning every day, so we might expect newer and newer knowledge. So my view to all the parents, in fact, we should look into all the learning the ways of learning. So connectivism, in fact, is very obvious now. Like at my age, beginning of 50s. So I always look into some apps, some website like WebMD, because sometimes at my age, we are so worried about hair dropping. So sometimes the knee might have some problem. Sometimes, so we need to keep up with some medical knowledge. And in fact, there are newer things coming up every day. And so for programmers, they must know some websites, some apps like GitHub, because the program that they are learning, in fact, they are getting new updates every now and then. And they need to keep to the pace. They need to keep to the pace, like machine learning, artificial intelligence, like reading facial reaction, the pictures. So there are a lot of newer and newer algorithm developed, invented every day. So if you don't tap into this kind of apps or website or knowledge, in fact, very soon, in fact, you are going to be out of date. So connectivism is some kind of learning ideas for us to tap into something which can keep us updated every now and then. And now we entering into another area when we talk about AI intelligence. AI intelligence, because now most of the things that we are seeing every day, we have no time to analyze. You just imagine like the robots, or maybe the autonomous car, the screen. So the screen, in fact, the reaction of the car to what is happening in front of them, you must use the machine to make the decision on your behalf, because in no way human being can tap into this kind of decision makings, because you need to make decision by the machine itself, because it happens so fast until a stage where you can't afford to make your own decision by human being. Okay, so why does this matters? Okay, now let me show you with this something very simple. Please listen. We go to school, like I myself, from kindergartens many years ago. So we spent 20-30 years in school. We learn a lot. I'm a science stream student. We learn physics, chemistry, and so on. And ladies and gentlemen, do you know that in fact most of the knowledge that we learn, and we spend about 20 to 30 years, and the concept applied is just in case. I learned a lot of math. I can hardly apply them, except I'm applying the theory in my teaching lessons. So those kind of knowledge come to us just in case one day you're going to use them. So we learn a lot. And just in case we want to use them, then we enter into another phase. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us, you are highly aware what is happening in these 4 blocks. Just in time. Just in time, what does it mean? I look into my air conditioners, so it's down all of a sudden. To some extent, I need to fix it up myself. I go to YouTube. I start to YouTube. So I look for something, and this is just in time. Young kids at the age of 3 to 4 can speak to the machine and demand for the cartoon that they want. Just in time. So ladies and gentlemen, we are in education, so we should look into the trend. Education is something very exciting. It is very exciting. So it's just a matter that, in fact, we need to tap into something new. And now we are talking about just enough, because too much thing come to us every day. Since 13 years ago, when we have a WhatsApp, when we have all those kind of messages, so the volume of messages we are receiving increased by 7 times. So what we need now, in fact, is not the knowledge. What we need now is something just enough for me. Just enough for me. And now we are entering into the AI era. So we are talking about just for me. Just for me, something just for me. I do not want to know, nothing that doesn't concern me anymore, because there's so much knowledge out there. So we just imagine, if you still keep to the learning mindset of just in case, can you cope with the current generation? Can you? And how about the young kids that we are teaching in your kindergartens? And today the topic is mainly for kindergartens. Okay, now another part, in fact, the world is ever changing. I still, 20 years ago, we launched program to kindergartens. I think we are the very first company in Malaysia. We give away monitors, big screen to every classroom, and to teach, and because I think there are a lot of advantage, and in education we call it as affordances. Affordances means what can be You do the best with something. A lot of kindergartens, they have a lot of teachers, and in each and every subject, multimedia, in fact, is very important. Like, for example, ladies and gentlemen, we do have some language problem in each and every part of the world. Like, for example, in Singapore, Malaysia. So how are you going to say the word say or pronounce the word H? It's not H, H-E-A-D, kepala, kepala. It's not head, it's head, head. So a lot of pronunciation problem happen in, in many places. So in fact, we try to use the multimedia screen. So we record all the right pronunciation and storytelling. So it will be very easy for teachers to teach. So the idea is good. Okay, so now, but at that time, a lot of parents, they are very against this kind of ideas. They say, multimedia will hurt the children's eyes. So this is not good, that is not good, okay? But when come to this generation, ladies and gentlemen, we need to look into what is happening now. So the virtual world, in fact, is merging into our physical world now. The virtual world is merging into our physical world now. Are you highly aware of this? So some of you are still not aware of this. Why? Let me give you one example. We are talking about 3D printers, the CNC machine. Listen, previously, if you want to be some expert, in some craft work, it spends 20 years, 30 years to develop the skill, the tacit skill, the skill. So the skill that you have, so allow you to craft something, the artwork, the craft work very well, so that in fact you can earn a very good living, and you can do something which others can't, and with your talents and with your skill, I believe nobody can replace you by given a very short period of time. But in today's world, I'm going to tell you, you are very wrong. You just need to learn the 3D printing machine, the acrylic board machines, so you can create a lot of fantastic work. You can create a fantastic work, which might demand 20 or 30 years of hard skill. And today, in fact, you just need to know the software. You can produce a lot of good things now. You can do a lot of good things now. So the virtual world is merging, is entering into the physical world now. Just like Zoom. It's entering into the physical world now. In fact, you can't hardly tell the border between the physical world and the virtual world. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of this? So this is the first time. This is the first point that I'm going to highlight before I tell you about the robotic for early child education. The first one, the real world and the virtual worlds, okay? And now the second one, hybrid learning. So as I just mentioned to you in the classroom, so some students, in fact, they are in the classroom, but in fact, they join the class. So we put Zoom on a screen. So they do the presentation. We have the discussion. In fact, you can't even tell where they are now, whether they are in the classroom or maybe they are somewhere else. So like the COVID-19, many teachers, they try to solve the COVID-19 issues in the classroom, especially early childhood education. Some of them, they keep on telling, kindergartens, a lot of children, they are leaving, they don't want to come, they don't want to pay the fees, they don't want to join the kindergartens, they leave the kindergartens. Why? You never change things by fighting the existing realities. Because you are still calling the parents to come to the classroom and to get the worksheet and hand it over to them. So you are keeping the old practices in the new world. You are keeping the old practices in the new world. And how can the parents, get what they want? And you are so keen about what you tell, but you neglect. In fact, you don't bother about the learning outcomes. And this is what the parents want. This is what the parents want. They are looking into the learning outcomes. The learning outcome, what can my children really gain? Physically, what can they feel? What can they gain? What can they experience with the children's gaining? But you just tell them about what can you provide. your old way. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. To change something, you need something new. Okay, then let me bring you to the last issue. In fact, the teacher's responsibility, in fact, is not just to define. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to teach. Generate, assign content. It is to, in fact, the teacher's role is to help the learners to build learning path. Build the learning path, because now, in fact, they are so easy to get new knowledge. And the knowledge that we are learning today, or even these seconds, so might obsolete in the subsequent seconds. So, in fact, can you make connection with existing and new knowledge resources? So this is what the teachers need to do now. And the word problem, in fact, is ill-structured. Sorry to those that you might not understand the problem, the nature of the problem that we are facing every day, ladies and gentlemen. We learn from school are all the well-structured problem. I give you the problem, then the solution is out there. You just try. If you couldn't get the answers, you just pull a piece of paper, you just follow the step, then you solve the problem. That are well-structured problem. But the world now is full of ill-structured problem. So how are we going to solve the ill-structured problem, ladies and gentlemen? So first of all, what is ill-structured problem? Like COVID-19, you won't be able to tell, oh, 3 more days COVID is coming. Let us get ready. Okay, 2 more days, 5 hours, 15 minutes. 2 more days is coming, the COVID-19. Okay, the COVID-19 will go away in the next 6 months. No. Ill-structured problem means you can't even know when and how the problem appear, and it just happened right in front of you. Just like many years ago in Thailand, in fact, the football coach caught trapped in the cave for 18 days. If you guys remember the incident, this is the ill-structured problem. Okay, so the rest I do not want to elaborate so much. And the new normal, all of us, we keep on talking about the new normal, but please study from the historical event. Okay, so the new normal, like for example, the first one, World War II. Before World War II, all the men in the United States of America, so of course they will do a lot of work, and then women normally will stay at home, housework. They would never go out and work at that time. Because of World War II, all the men in America, in fact, they leave the country, they left the country, they go to every part of the world, and all the women are left in the country, so no other choice. They have to start to go out and work. You know, ever since they start the work, they will never go back to the old life. This is the first case. And the second one, to those of you can still remember what is Y2K. Before Y2K, America, in fact, they are very conservative. They did not allow foreigners, programmers to enter the countries and to take up most of the job they have, especially in the programming side. But because of the issue of Y2K, they have to allow a lot of programmers, especially from India. So since then, so the programming in India and a lot of programmers from India in America. So in fact, the number is growing and they will never go back to the old cases. And the same thing to Alibaba as well. So over here, the slide, there are some videos. So because of a time constraint, I'm not going to play the videos. The world is going automation. You need to know how to communicate with the robots now, not just human being. Robot is more reliable than human beings to some extent. And your closest person to you is not your wife or your husband. Most probably it's your mobile phone. It's your mobile phone. You sleep with your mobile phone, you go to toilet with your mobile phone, you go everywhere with your mobile phone, and you cannot live without your mobile phone, but you can still live without your husband or your wife. Okay? So the automation, in fact, is taking place And please look into my slide now. Previously, we just climbed the ladder. Your career path, you just climb the ladder. As you need to climb very fast because it's a straight ladder. Depends on how hard work you are. You do not need to think much. You just follow through. You just climb very hard. But ladies and gentlemen, the world now is already now. In fact, it's a maze. At each of every point of your life, you need to figure out left or right. Which area, which side. So the world is we are living in a totally different world now. And some of you, especially I deal with a lot of kindergartens, they are still waiting. Just wait lah. Wait until the COVID-19 go away, then we can go back to the old life. Last time I used to have 600 students, some kindergarten, they said, wait lah, Khoo. My student now, in fact, I only have one third. So wait lah. So last year in March, they told me, wait, July is going to resume. Last year, July. Then they wait lah. They wait until July. Then they wait until the end of last year. Now they are waiting for school reopening. So are you still going to wait? So how long are you going to wait? Or you have already accept the facts that in fact we are entering into a totally new world now. So some of the parents, they are still keeping to the attitude. In fact, the role of technology in early childhood education is, young kids, don't give them an iPad. It hurts the eye. It's no good. I think to some extent, we are not very right. Okay? So the right age for children to start with, IT or computer science knowledge. In fact, you have to start it early as early childhood education. So one of the concepts that I would like to highlight, in fact, is MakerSpace. MakerSpace. So MakerSpace, the concept, in fact, is very different from the conventional way of learning. Because MakerSpace believes you let the children handle what they want. When I teach children, I don't like to, ask them, remind them, hey, children. I have some children joining us later on. I never go to the extent to reminding, hey, you need to come to the class at 12 o'clock sharp. No, if you don't come, it's your business. This is how I train the children. I don't go and remind them. Some parents, they do not like the way how I guide the young kids. I have a small class of young children. But to me, in fact, this is education, not the knowledge. If the children, in fact, are trained to be reminded all the while, how can they enter into their teenage age? How can they become somebody else in one day? So the education, in fact, is how you behave, how you teach, how you guide them. I normally start with the Zoom classes. I always start on time, exactly 12 o'clock, not earlier, not later, but on time. And this is, to me, this is education, not so much into the knowledge. And I give them some work, some homework, some tasks. If they don't do them, to me, I will take it, this is the children's way of learning. You can't force them. And I enjoy a lot with those kids that they love to learn. So this is my children. The rest, I can't help so much. And slowly, in fact, when you are teaching the children, use the Bloom taxonomy. To those that would know what is Bloom taxonomy, start with something, low-level teaching method, thinking skill. Then slowly raise your challenges. So some children will be inspired. They will get excited. Then they will go to the next level. Then the higher level, in fact, they are going into, so they are going to own the ownership of learning. And this is how I see the children progresses, how the child progresses. Okay, so MakerSpace means design a place for children, then facilitate them with the right tools and the knowledge, help them to design their own path of learning. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very much into the digital text part. Reading books is very different from reading website, digital blogs or digital pages. Reading books, your mind is controlled by the author. You read from the first line, then the second line. Can you jump? You can't. And this is how the author wants you to follow through the thinking he has or she has. But how about the website? Website, you need to design your own path. You can't read page by pages. You click, then you read, then you go to another one, you jump to another one, then you navigate, you click, you jump to another one, and now you have the VR, AR, you have different devices, and you have the mobile devices. So in fact, the learning path is getting very much different from books. So are you getting young kids ready for it? Are you? Because you need to design your own reading path now. You need to design, but some of the teachers they still keep the old method. You still train the children mindset in the wrong way. Use your finger, point at the words, bata bata bata. Then you just read sentence by sentence, and this is how you train the children's mind to work, which I think, in fact, you should do more than reading. Okay, so MakerSpace, in fact, is to design some simple, which I'm going to show you something which I did the design for the products. Then I involved myself with Alvin, especially. We went to China sometime, so we sat in the classroom, we observe how the children work. So I enjoy a lot, and see how the children progresses. Then we change, we author. Then we talk to the parents, talk to the children, talk to the teachers. Then we change. So we are talking about tinkering space, MakerSpace, make the children think. Okay, let me tell you why it is matter. Listen, this page is very important. Before I jump into the robotic side, ultimately, if you train the children with the concept of MakerSpace, like some of the children that they've been with us for a while, so once they fail, they will not treat those failure as something hurts them. They will design their own mindset in such a way that, hey, I've just found another way which it couldn't work. Just like some children, they are writing the code. So normally the first time when they wrote the codes, the Python codes, in fact, they're going to spot some errors. So the moment when they spotted some errors, that's how they learn. So they feel so happy when they spot the errors. Just, I found the errors. I found the errors. Sometimes because of the spacing, maybe the spelling error, or maybe some of the code applied wrongly. So the children normally they're going to feel a bit different. I found the errors. I found the errors. Let's change. Let's try again. I found the errors. So in fact, this is the mindset that in fact we can develop with MakerSpace. Okay. This is the table that before I show you the robots today. So children at the age of at the level of early childhood educations. So in fact, we can use a lot of robotics to design the coding, and the concept applied can be computational thinking. Computational thinking, there are 4 parts, like algorithmic thinking, stacks. I'm going to show you in a short while. And MakerSpace, you can use a lot of 3D pen. Later on, Alvin will show some of the program with 3D pens. So this is one of the 3D pens. So the children can design maybe a house, a tree, Okay, so when they proceed to primary school, which I've invited some children to come later on, they're going to show you at the age of 7, 8, 9, and so on, how can they write with micro:bit, some code. And some of the children like Junyu been with us for many years, So robotic and Python. So most probably they can try to write some Python and expose children to some kind of data collection. This is very important. Data literacy has become something very important for children to aware, because all our environment now, like what I'm doing now, been recorded. So the digital track. So can children tap into those data and highly aware that, hey, these are the data, in fact, you can get from the sensors, you can get from the pictures, So give them some concept which you can't learn from school. If you go to United States, at the age of 7 or 8, so if let's say you go and tell others, hey, my children, in fact, has no coding knowledge. So they are going to look at you as if you are an alien. But not here. Not here. In fact, here the situation of the other way around happens. So if you are learning coding, some parents will ask, why you spend time to learn something which is not relevant? So in fact, coding is very important now. So for primary level, I would suggest the concept of machine learning. I'm going to invite a child. I don't know whether he'll be here today or not. So he will write some simple machine learning coding with Jupyter Notebook. And a notebook, in fact, Jupyter Notebook is a kind of worksheet like Microsoft Word, ladies and gentlemen. All of us, we know spreadsheet very well. We know a word processor very well. But I'm telling you, pages that you are handling now is no longer spreadsheet or worksheets or word processor. In fact, you should tap into the screen which can write the program, can pull something from the crowd, can put a picture, and that is notebook. We call it as notebook. So the children should know this kind of digital pages. And for MakerSpace, children can learn 3D printers, laser cutters, and so on. Okay, I'm going to show you, Alvin, get ready the videos. One of the concepts, in fact, is computational thinking. Computational thinking, the idea is very simple. You can use a lot of robots which are available from outside. You can get my slides. You can go and buy your own robots. And I prepared some worksheets. In fact, we don't sell now. So the worksheet, in fact, last time I used to give away to some school. In fact, we sell, but not now. So in fact, I've uploaded into some website, which I'm going to share with you later on. You can go and download the worksheet if you want to. I'm going to show you some, like algorithm. Algorithm means steps. Train the children's mind to design something in proper steps so that they can hand over the step to a machine. Then let the machine run the repetitive steps on its own. Means automation. Let me show you one. Alvin, can you see my screen now? Okay. So in fact, we designed something very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hope my robots can still work. So this is the robot. So then you need to press the button to design the step for very young kids. Like for example, from number 5 to number 1, then clear the memory, execute. Then I'm going to press 2 steps forward, 1, 2, run. Then the robot will simply 1 step, 2 step. So how can I reach from number 5 to number 2? So you need to move forward, turn, then move forward. So I'm going to program the robots move forward, turn, then you can move forward because I didn't press the purple button. So you need to clear the memory, and then you program. You see, I press blue twice followed by the purple, so it moved and turn, but it wouldn't go to the number 2 unless I press the blue as the last button. So I'm going to do blue twice, purple means it turns. After turning, you need to move a step forward. Then only the robot can reach number 2. Okay, this is another robot. And this one, in fact, is also bought. And this one, it will trace according to the colors. So if you have the colors, in fact, these are the colors. So these are the code. These are the code. So the code means like the blue, red, blue, black, blue. So the robots, in fact, will follow. So and when it detects the color, in fact, it will move fast. So when it detects the codes, in fact, it will move slow. So this one, in fact, will pause for a while. So we design something very simple using color code, and the children can remember the code very well. Okay, so these are some of the robots which you can get it from outside, and this is another one which Alvin will show you how to operate this. So in fact, you need to fix one by one. So you want to make the robot turn right, turn left, okay, and then move forward. Then you join yourself. You join the step yourself. Okay, then you press the button, then the robot will move. So there are a lot of ready robotics train children's algorithmic thinking. Algorithmic thinking means the steps from one box to another, then come back. So how? But children cannot learn when you just give them the robot. You need to design some story. So normally we design some story. So we tell the children some story and let the children's learning become more meaningful with those stories. Okay. So normally we design the story and I want the children to figure out, I'm going to tell them like what appear on the pictures now. So we get a good illustrator to illustrate the story. Some we have some simple animation to tell the story. And the children, in fact, they are so into the stories. They become a part of the stories. So when they become the part of a story, that's the moment they learn. Ladies and gentlemen, children's learning takes place when they are fully engaged. They are fully engaged. Some teachers, they don't see it. Like the Montessori toys, the fine motor skill toys. Some children, they are crying. So they just pin jump the hand to the teachers and the teachers play the toys for them. And end up the teacher will tell them, yeah, you got the toys. The children, they don't learn. That's why most of the kindergarten teachers are very smart. Because every day they learn. They do the work, not the children. Okay? So children learn well when they are fully engaged. Fully engaged means, I love it. Then they become the part of a story. And they become the character inside the story. Then they operate as if they are one of the character of the stories. That's when they learn. That's when they learn. So teachers, you need to make children to become a part of a story. That's why we design the story. Then we always tell the children what next. So what do you think? And make them learn in group. Make them learn in group. So we design the story. So I've then let them make some decisions. Okay. So I won't go in depth into the story. That this is not a session for today. So I've uploaded this into some website yesterday. I will show you the website. So most probably you just go and click and enjoy the worksheet if you want. Okay. And the robot pictures, I uploaded the PowerPoint slide. Most probably Monday or Tuesday. Okay. I need time to upload the PowerPoint slide. I do not know which page I'm going to use. Sometime, in some talk. And this is the 3D work produced by a child. So, and some teachers, in fact, they say, oh, children at the age of preschool, they couldn't do this and that. In fact, give them some training so they are able to produce in a 3D form what they have in mind. What they have in mind, in fact, can be something very tangible for them to hold on. So later on, I'm going to put this slide by end of my talk. And now, Alvin, get ready. I'm going to get Alvin to show the videos. So we have 8 children. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Later on, you can click my slide. I'm going to put this as the last page later on. So we have Josiah. I don't know, Josiah is here. Mr. Boon, pay attention to him. If he is, later on, Josiah will join group 1, Josiah. Then Lien Yi is a small kid, was write Python. Couldn't imagine how children can learn Python by its own. Of course, initially, he couldn't understand the code at all, but let them just copy blindly. Then slowly, I give them some tasks. Hey, can you change the car to move slightly backward? Slow down the speed. Then you change the requirement or the parameters gradually. Then the children, they start to pay attention to each and every part. You can't wait until the children learn all the code and they are ready. By then it's too late. Give them 10 lines straight away. Copy the codes. Operate the computers. When they see the robot is moving, they are so excited. Then they want to do things on their own. Then I start to give them a task. Hey, can you make the car move faster? How teachers adjust the number? Then they will know how to adjust by themselves from that on. I want to make the car move in a reverse way. How teachers? Okay, now you change the pin in the code. Then when they change one after another, that's how they learn the code. Then I give them another project. I ask them to fix the robot themselves. They design the robot themselves. So you must design according to the Bloom taxonomy. So in fact, you must climb up the ladder from a low level, lower order thinking skill. Then maybe give them some tasks. Then a higher order. This is how you design. Then when the children, they can work on their own, then you give them some tasks because they enjoy creating something on their own. Then Yuhan is a lady. So she is going to design with Python. Python, in fact, coding, write a lot of codings. A leaf can raise from one floor to another. Then Yong-on, in fact, if he is here, he will show you machine learning. Some parents will tell me, hey, Khoo, my name is Khoo. They are too young to learn machine learning. In fact, you are very wrong. They can appreciate them. So this is the trust board, the dustbin, the automation trust bin, the car movement. And every now and then, like the robot, in fact, I like to, share my video with my students. Some of my students, especially the university side, I've been teaching the part-time student for more than 5 years, in fact, 7 years since I 1-3. Then I stopped for a while, for a couple of years, then I continue. So in fact, I upload a lot of videos. One, I design some robots, some games, some activities that I upload, then I share the link with them. So if you want to know the robot, maybe you can go to the YouTube, you find it out yourself. Okay, and we also have a lot of activities there because the digital, this is the website. Please take note on the website. You can download all the worksheet from here. Okay, so we have a lot of activities. Like sometime we conducted a conference in the University of Hong Kong many years ago. We have competitions online lately. So last few weeks, we have a live tour into a science museum in Hong Kong. So children, they were so excited observing all those robots moving around, And we have a tour visit to some kindergartens. When we feel that in fact the kindergarten has something good to tell, to share. So not now, of course, we invite them there. Okay. So these are some of the activities. I'm going to put my page. This is the website. Go there, not today, Monday, most probably, to download the worksheets. And maybe the YouTube link. All of us, we know YouTube very well. You go and view some robotics like what I've just shared. So now, in fact, Alvin, can you share the Ozo bot? Alvin will share the Ozo bot in China. So how this robot, excites